August 24th, 2023. A young woman steps into a taxi outside her apartment in Kingston, Jamaica. Black tights, black shoes, black top. She never comes home. 6 months later, they find her bones in a cane field. But here's what nobody's telling you: before Stephanie Williams became a hashtag, she survived something most of us couldn't. And the person who killed her? Still out there. Now, before you scroll past this like it's just another true crime video, ask yourself, have you ever ignored a gut feeling about someone? Brushed off that weird vibe because you didn't want to seem paranoid? Yeah, so did she. If you think that could never happen to me, don't subscribe. Seriously, drop a comment below and tell me why you're so sure you're safe. For everyone else, let's rewind. Savannah Lamar, Jamaica. October 8th, 1993. Stephanie Debbie Ann Williams is born to a 16-year-old mother named Millicent McCurdy. Teen mom. No father worth mentioning. Most kids born into that? They don't make it out. Stephanie wasn't most kids. She loved science, dissected reptiles in her backyard like she was prepping for med school at age 10, wrote her first song at 10 years old. Not because she wanted fame, because she needed to survive. See, while Stephanie was acing tests and singing in the school choir, while she was making her mama proud, her father was raping her. 12 years old when it started. 17 when it stopped, only because she left for college. 5 years. She took the abuse to protect her younger sisters. That's who Stephanie Williams was. So when her mother pushed her toward nursing school, even though Stephanie wanted forensic pathology, she went. Because that's what survivors do. But music? Music was hers. And 17, she drops her first single, Me Ride. By 2018, she's Medikk, a nod to the medical career she gave up, recording with Shane O. Javalani. Tracks like Money Feelings and Boss Level getting play. But she's not just an artist. 19, she launches Reborn Holistic, all natural skincare. Within a year, she's in pharmacies across Jamaica. 29 years old, independent, thriving. She'd survived her father, survived poverty, survived every statistic that said she'd fail. Then someone decided she'd survived enough. August 24th, 2023. Stephanie gets into a taxi. Her phone pings a cell tower in Linstead, 30 miles away. Then, nothing. Her mother calls. No answer. By that night, Millicent knows. Mothers always know. She files a missing person report. Police issue an appeal. Weeks pass, then months. Millicent offers $1 million reward, protests outside the police station, and the whole time, Stephanie is already dead, lying in a cane field in Wallen, St. Catherine, right where her phone last pinged. Police know who they're looking for. Suspects identified, but no arrests, no charges, no justice. Still think you don't need to pay attention? The 6 months her mother spent searching, the protests, the silence from people who knew exactly where Stephanie's body was. You're going to want to see how close this case came to never being solved. Welcome to Unseen True Crime Stories, where the darkest secrets and untold cases come to light. Consider subscribing and tapping the notification bell. That way, you won't miss our next true crime story.
Let me body clap, then drop like a drop top. 30 mil Benz bite cash just like that. Buy me own a thing so a boy can't give me chat. Full of bass style and a stack cash. Like what? How will you feel like? Like what? Bad girl in a real life? Like what?
February 14th, 2024, Valentine's Day. While couples across Jamaica are exchanging flowers and chocolates, a farmer in Wallen, St. Catherine walks into his cane field. He finds bones. Human bones. 6 months. That's how long Stephanie Williams had been decomposing in that field while her mother begged strangers for answers. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's go back to August 24th, 2023, the day everything stopped. Stephanie leaves her apartment at Mayfair on Red Hills Road. She's heading somewhere, meeting someone. A taxi picks her up. Her phone pings a cell tower in Linstead, St. Catherine, about 30 miles from Kingston. Then the signal dies. That evening, Millicent McCurdy calls her daughter. No answer. Calls again. Voicemail. Again. By the next morning, she's at Constant Spring Police Station filing a missing person report. The cops take down the details. Brown complexion, slim build, 29 years old, last seen wearing black. They issue a public appeal, and then they wait. But Millicent, she doesn't wait. She prints flyers, plasters Stephanie's face across social media, reaches out to every contact in the dancehall community. Someone has to know something. September rolls around, still nothing. October, Nothing. By November, Millicent is standing outside Constant Spring Police Station with a megaphone and a sign, leading a peaceful protest. Her message is simple: find my daughter. Now here's where you need to pay attention, because this is the part where most families give up, where the system forgets, where cases go cold. But if you've got someone you love, and I mean really love, you need to understand what happens when they disappear. The first 48 hours? Critical. After that, the chances drop every single day. And if you're watching this thinking, I'd never let that happen to someone I care about, let me ask you something. When's the last time you checked in on your people? Not a text, not a like on Instagram, an actual conversation. Because Stephanie had friends, had family, had a whole community, and she still ended up in a cane field. So yeah, hit that subscribe button. Not for me. For the next time someone you know goes quiet for too long, or don't. Go to the comments and tell me why you think you're different. Deputy Commissioner Fitz Bailey holds a press conference in late 2023. He confirms they've traced Stephanie's phone to Linstead. They've expanded the search to St. Anne, Clarendon, Westmoreland. They've got leads, persons of interest, but no body, no arrests. Millicent offers a $1 million reward. She organizes prayer vigils, fasting sessions. She begs the public. If you know something, say something. And somebody did know something. Multiple people, actually. They just weren't talking. Christmas 2023 comes and goes. Stephanie's chair at the family table stays empty. New Year's, still nothing. Millicent starts preparing herself for the worst, but she doesn't stop searching. February 14th, 2024, the cane field in Wallen. A farmer notices something unusual, calls the police. They arrive, cordon off the area. What they find is skeletal, decomposed. Barely recognizable, but it's her. The remains are taken to Linstead Hospital for examination. Then the waiting begins again. Because identifying a body that's been rotting in tropical heat for 6 months, that takes time. DNA tests, forensic analysis. 4 months later, June 2024, the results come back. Positive match: Stephanie Debbie Ann Williams. Cause of death: fatal gunshot wounds, which means this wasn't an accident, wasn't an overdose, wasn't a tragic misunderstanding. Somebody shot her, somebody killed her, and then dumped her body in a place where they thought no one would ever look. The case is officially upgraded to murder. Police confirm they have suspects. Still no arrests. You starting to see the pattern here? We're talking about who Stephanie was running from. The threats, the enemies, the people who had reason to want her gone. And trust me, you're not ready for what comes next.
24th, 2023, Stephanie left her apartment on Red Hills Road, St. Andrew. She told her family she had a video shoot in Ocho Rios, St. Anne. She was dressed in black. She left without knowing it would be her last day alive. That evening, her family grew worried. Stephanie was always on her phone, but now her calls went unanswered. Her mother, Millicent McCurdy, knew something was wrong. She traveled from Savannah Lamar to Kingston, hoping to find Stephanie, but there was no trace of her. The family reported Stephanie missing to the Constant Spring Police. The search began immediately. Police interviewed friends, family, and her music colleagues. They chased every lead but found nothing. Stephanie's fans were also anxious and posted messages hoping for her safe return. Months passed. Then, on February 14th, 2024, Valentine's Day, police discovered remains in a cane field in Wallen, St. Catherine. They found pieces of clothing and jewelry nearby. Investigators sent samples for DNA testing, and soon, the worst fears came true. The remains were confirmed to be Stephanie's. The police confirmed that she had been shot. They reclassified her case as a murder investigation. Her family was heartbroken. The news hit the dancehall community hard. Stephanie was well loved. She had been talented, kind, and driven. Stephanie's story began in Westmoreland, Jamaica. She grew up in a close-knit family, where her mother taught her values like faith and kindness. Stephanie had always wanted to become a doctor, which inspired her stage name, Medikk. But she followed her passion for music instead. By 2017, she was performing on the Jamaican dancehall scene, gaining attention with her song, Me Ride. Stephanie's breakthrough came in 2018 with her hit Overcome, a collaboration with fellow artist Shane O. After that, her music gained a loyal following.
June 2024, the DNA results confirm what Millicent McCurdy already knew in her heart: her daughter is dead. Stephanie Williams, 29 years old, shot multiple times, left to rot in a cane field, But here's the million-dollar question. Who wanted her dead? Because here's what we know: Stephanie wasn't involved in gangs, wasn't caught up in drugs, wasn't running scams or making enemies in the streets. She was a dancehall artist and a businesswoman. So why would someone execute her like this? Let's break it down. By 2023, Stephanie had built two careers. First, music. She'd been grinding since 2017 as Medikk, collaborated with big names, built a fan base. Second, Riddled Holistic, her skincare company, all natural products in pharmacies across Jamaica. On paper, she was winning, but success in Jamaica, especially for women, comes with a price. In the entertainment industry, jealousy is currency. You get attention, you get streams, you get opportunities. Somebody's watching, and not always with good intentions. Then there's the business side. Riddled Holistic wasn't some side hustle. This was a legit operation. Manufacturing, distribution, retail partnerships, which means money, contracts, competitors, and in certain circles, that attracts the wrong kind of attention. Now, I'm not saying her music or her business got her killed, but I am saying this: when a young, independent woman starts making real money in a place where power is everything, people notice. Police won't say much. They've identified persons of interest. That's cops speak for, we know who did it, but we can't prove it yet. Or worse, we know who did it, but we're not touching them. Here's what we do. No, Stephanie's phone pinged in Linstead the day she disappeared. Her body was found in Wallen, same general area. Whoever took her knew the terrain, knew where to hide a body, knew it would take months to find her. That's not random. That's calculated. And here's the part that should make your skin crawl. The people responsible, they're still out there, walking around, living their lives, maybe even watching videos like this one. So if you're one of those people who thinks true crime is just entertainment, let me remind you, this is real. Stephanie's mother is real. Her sisters are real. The person who pulled that trigger is real. And if you're not subscribing to stay informed about cases like this, cases where justice hasn't been served, then what are you even doing here? Or maybe you've got a reason. Drop it in the comments. Tell me why you think this doesn't matter. August 24th, 2024, exactly 1 year after Stephanie disappeared, the Church of God in Savannah-Lamar, Westmoreland, is packed. Hundreds of people. Friends, family, fans, fellow artists. Millicent McCurdy stands at the front, holding an urn. Inside, her daughter's ashes. She speaks to the crowd, her voice shaking but strong. She says the killing left her broken but not bitter. She says she's willing to minister God's word to the people who murdered her child. Forgiveness. While the killers walk free, dancehall artist Ashana is there. She speaks out, demanding action, calling for women to protect themselves, because Stephanie's murder isn't isolated. It's part of a pattern, a wave of violence against women in Jamaica that keeps growing. And the system? It's failing them. Deputy Superintendent Dale Reed assures the family they're pursuing every lead. DCP Fitz Bailey says justice will come, but it's been over a year and nobody's in handcuffs. So what happens now? Does this case go cold like so many others? Does Stephanie become just another statistic, or does somebody finally talk? Stay with me.
We apply the same standard to all investigation. There's a thing that we call solvability factor. And in every investigation, we have to look at the solvability factor. And unfortunately, there are some investigations, irrespective of how the strategy that you use or the approach that you use, you apply all the techniques, you use technology, you apply all the sciences, and it's a natural thing that not every case will be solved. Globally, it happens. But I want to reassure the public that we apply the same standard to every investigation. That matter that you have referenced, I have also intervened, I've spoken to the investigators, I have looked at the evidence that is available, but we are still pursuing that investigation. And if you know how we do our thing, we don't make a lot of noise when we do an investigation. We investigate and then we speak after. And that is the approach that we have been taking. And we will continue to take this approach in all investigation. We investigate and we speak after the investigation. But I want to reassure, in particular the mother, I have spoken to her personally, that her matter is not neglected. We continue to focus on it. and we will pursue all leads and use all the resources that we have to conclude closure, because I think everybody wants closure to their case. I just want to point out that whilst we cannot tell an individual how they should live their lives, but one must be cautious with the type of relationship.
January 2026. It's been 2.5 years since Stephanie Williams got into that taxi. 2.5 years since her phone went silent. 2.5 years since someone shot her and left her in a cane field. And guess what? Still no arrests. Let that sink in. Police know who they're looking for. They've identified suspects. They've got forensic evidence, cell tower data, witness statements, and yet nothing. So what happened? Why hasn't anyone been charged? Welcome to the Jamaican justice system, where murder investigations move at the speed of bureaucracy, where witnesses refuse to talk out of fear, where cases pile up faster than cops can solve them. In 2025 alone, police-involved shootings in Jamaica increased by 65%. That's 301 people killed by law enforcement in 1 year. Add gang violence, domestic murders, and cases like Stephanie's. The system is drowning. And here's the ugly truth: when you're a young woman, especially a black woman in the Caribbean, your murder doesn't always get priority. Your case doesn't make international headlines. Your family doesn't get closure. You become a file in a cabinet somewhere, gathering dust. But Stephanie's family refuses to let her be forgotten. Her sister took over Reborn Holistic. The business is still running, still selling in pharmacies. Millicent McCurdy still speaks out, still demands answers. She's turned her grief into advocacy, pushing for better protection for women, for faster investigations, for accountability. Because here's what she knows and what you need to understand. Stephanie's killers are counting on people forgetting. They're counting on the news cycle moving on. They're counting on you not caring. And that's exactly why you need to subscribe, not just to this channel, but to the idea that these stories matter, that victims like Stephanie deserve more than a hashtag and a candlelight vigil. They deserve justice. And if you're not willing to keep their names alive, who will? Or maybe you disagree. Maybe you think I'm being too dramatic, too emotional. Cool. Go to the comments and tell me why this case doesn't deserve attention. I'll wait. Here's where we stand today. Stephanie's murder remains officially unsolved. The Jamaica Constabulary Force maintains that the investigation is ongoing. Persons of interest have been questioned, released, questioned again. But without witnesses willing to testify, without someone breaking the code of silence, the case stalls. And the longer it stalls, the colder it gets. Memories fade, evidence degrades, people move on, but not Millicent. Every August 24th, she holds a vigil. Every interview, she repeats the same plea. If you know something, say something. The thing is, people do know. In communities like the ones where Stephanie lived and died, secrets don't stay secret. Somebody knows who picked her up that day. Somebody knows who pulled the trigger. Somebody knows where she was before she ended up in that field. They're just not talking. And that's the tragedy. Not just that Stephanie was murdered, but that her killers are protected by a culture of fear and silence. So where does that leave us? Stephanie Williams. Medikk is gone. Her music is still out there. Her business is still running. Her memory is still alive in the people who loved her. But justice? That's still waiting. And it'll keep waiting until someone decides that her life mattered more than their fear. If this story moved you, share it. If it made you angry, subscribe so you don't miss the next one. If you know someone in Jamaica or anywhere who's gone missing, who's been hurt, who needs a voice, speak up. Because staying silent doesn't protect you, it protects them. Stephanie Williams was 29 years old, a survivor, an artist, a businesswoman, a daughter. She deserved better than a cane field. She deserves better than an unsolved case. And so do the hundreds of others just like her. This is Unseen True Crime Stories. We don't forget. We don't move on. We keep digging until the truth comes out. Stay with us. This is the kind of story unseen. True Crime Stories is dedicated to sharing, not just for entertainment, but for vital, grim lessons. If this story stirred something in you, if it made you think, then you know you need to be here for the next one. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications. And if you're still scrolling past without joining, I have to ask, what truth are you afraid to face? What essential understanding are you willing to miss out on? Tell us in the comments. We'll be here, continuing to shed light on the shadows, because sometimes understanding the darkness is the only way to find the light. Thank you for watching.